Adam, amazing job this week. He always does so incredibly well, breaking all this news. Adam, everybody appreciates it, I think, but just another shout out to you for doing so
Good job,
much.
Schefter.
Doing it at such a high level.
Great.
You're awesome.
By the way, Dan last night was carrying my bags on the plane on the flight back from Indy because we're dealing with Max Crosby. He was an excellent bellhop. He did a great job, great teammate. There, really appreciate it, Dan.
Great teammate.
I'm glad you had him doing something.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm seeing him. He's over there taking pictures of you, Adam. You're in this like stressful situation with the Max Crosby news.
I didn't even know that.
Dan's capitalizing on it. Yeah.
Kind of what I did as a player, Schefter. Carry bags, tell everybody good job.
Back of the end zone. Sorry. All right. It's been a while. I'm sorry, Dan. I was not going to say it. There was a beat. I wasn't going to do it.
This company doesn't miss
And then
a day,
here's
man.
the reality, though, Dan. The temptation was too great. I couldn't resist.
Fight it.
All right. Here's what happens here on the free agent board. The quarterbacks that we're still waiting to find out where they're going to go. Kyler Murray, look for some potential action with him today. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. Other people have found new homes. Malik Willis, Tua Tagovailoa. We'll talk about those in just a bit. But, Adam, let's start with Kyler Murray and what we expect to happen potentially as the new league year begins.
Well, we expect that he'll be released here at the start of the new league year, which starts here in just under an hour. And it's a situation where he then will become a free agent. Most people believe the Vikings are going to be very interested, and Kyler Murray also be interested in the Vikings. We'll see how that works out. But Kyler Murray is expected to be set free this afternoon later on. Aaron Rodgers, still a free agent right now, waiting to commit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have wanted him back. He's been non-committal so far. The Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting for an answer to that question right now. He has not given one. The hope is he'll be back with Mike McCarthy, and we'll see how that one works out. If not, they have Will Howard in backup. But another option that could be looming out there is Kirk Cousins, who also is expected to be released today from the Atlanta Falcons before the start of the new league year. Situation where he'll be on the street, doesn't have to rush, has made a ton of money during his NFL career, and now we'll see if and when he finds a new home. And a man who got a big new deal today was Daniel Jones from the Indianapolis Colts, a 2-year extension worth $60 million, or $88 million, up to $100 million with incentives. Big deal for Daniel Jones. Look, the Colts' priority was keeping Daniel Jones, keeping Alec Pierce, and before the new league year opened today, both players now are under contract, Jones and Pierce, back to the Colts.
All right, and based on current contracts, Jones' average salary 16th among all quarterbacks, just ahead of Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. These contract rankings likely to change throughout the offseason, but that's where Jones is right now.
Those guys are underpaid.
Yeah, I'm seeing some agents out there that are going to be like, well, wait a second, what are we doing here? Okay. Daniel Jones joined the Pat McAfee Show earlier today to talk about working his way back from the Achilles tear that he suffered in December.
We'll keep checking the boxes, working with the guys here with the Colts, and feel good about that. So I'm planning on being back, and the goal is shooting for week 1. We got a special thing going, and working with this coaching staff, working with the guys in the locker room, and fired up to get Alec back and all that. So looking forward to it.
Dan, what do you think of the Colts' decision to pay Daniel Jones coming off the Achilles injury?
It's fair. It was really their only choice, to be honest, as well. I think, listen, there's an injury history that's got to give you just some hesitation. It's not the Achilles. Daniel's had the Achilles. He's had the broken leg. He's had the neck. He's had the ACL. But they traded away their first-round pick, so they didn't have any leverage in that regard. And then once you see, like, okay, Kyler seems like he's going to Minnesota. Geno Smith gets traded to the Jets. Tua goes to Atlanta. There wasn't a ton of other options for Indianapolis, and I think it's a fair deal for both sides. If Daniel balls, he's going to get a lot of money next year. If Daniel maybe isn't healthy or struggles a little bit, it doesn't handicap the Colts for their long-term future at the position.
So the Colts wanted to keep Alec Pierce, the wide receiver, Daniel Jones together. That was their goal really for the last month, and those two are incredibly tight, so they wanted to stay together. But now it's going to cost them nearly a third of their salary cap just for those two players, and it probably cost them Trey Hendrickson or some defensive pieces because now they have a lot of holes there. They've lost players there. Safety Nick Cross just signed with Washington. They have a lot of holes to fill. Now, they draft well, but the Colts have some work to do over the next few days to add pieces. But they got their quarterback. He plans to be back week 1. That's his goal. They've got a look at his recovery the last few months from the Achilles, and they're comfortable with it.
I heard a little groan from Lou. I mean, you heard that there, Jeremy. You had said that earlier, that they were in the mix potentially for Trey Hendrickson, the Colts were, and they end up in this situation where they do tie up the key offensive players that they prioritize. But Lou, what are your thoughts? And was that a groan? I wasn't sure. Was it a sigh?
No, no. It was almost like a grunt of like, yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it with the quarterback position in general, simply because, you know, I think we all sometimes look at these players and look at quarterbacks in particular in that position where we're always going, well, what's the next best alternative? How can we get the next guy? How can we get the next guy? How can we get a guy that's just like that will just wow us, like Burrow and Mahomes and Matthew Stafford? But you know, teams don't really they don't have those options, and I don't, quite honestly, I don't think they really think that way. I think they see what Daniel Jones did while he was healthy. And the kind of relationship he built with Tyler Warren, the kind of relationship he built with Alec Pierce, the kind of running back they have in Jonathan Taylor. And I think they look at that and they combine all that with the kind of rapport that Shane Steichen has built with this offense and with this team overall. And then they got a nice backup in Riley Leonard, who plays well at the end of the year last year. They're trying to trade Anthony, see if he can find a new home. And they're going, you know what, we're not in such a bad spot. I mean, yeah, the money is a little bit higher than what I thought it would be. I didn't think he'd be up there in the $44, $45 million range, but good for Daniel. And I think for the Colts, I understand why they did this. And they have a lot of intel about how his rehab is going, and they obviously are pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's a good deal, like you said, Dan, on both sides potentially here. Now, Jones and Kyler Murray, they were both top 10 picks in 2019, and Kyler's been more productive on the field in his career. I mean, you see this. He ranks 12th in the league in total QBR over that time period since 2019. When you think about him, we're kind of already putting him on this Minnesota team.
He's going to Minnesota, yeah.
Okay, so he's going to be the starting quarterback there, and what does that look like?
Well, I think the interesting thing is after he goes there, what does Kevin O'Connell say about it? That's what I'm most interested in. Does Kevin O'Connell come out, who's the head coach, and say, this is an open competition, or this is Kyler's job?
Well, what would you do?
I think I would sit there and say, Kyler Murray is going to be given every opportunity to be the starting quarterback.
So it is a competition.
And I'm telling J.J. McCarthy, you got to beat him out. Like, you have to go take the job from Kyler Murray. I think that's probably the likeliest way I would go about doing it, and I think it ends up going. I don't think Kyler's going there without some type of, hey, yeah, we think it's going to be you unless he takes it from you.
Yeah. So the messaging from inside the Minnesota building from people I talked to is we have not given up on J.J. McCarthy. In an ideal world, they want this to go like how the Colts situation went last year. You signed Daniel Jones, but you give it a competition in the spring, early in training camp. Anthony Richardson did his best, but he couldn't outbeat Daniel Jones. That's probably what they're looking for, but we all know if you're seeing other people, it's probably time to move on, and the other person knows that. And that's kind of what this is.
I mean, Lou. Go, Lou.
It's over. It's over for JJ. Yeah. They signed him. It's over. Look, okay, so, all right, you bring Kyler Murray in there, right? It's a new system for him. He has to get reps. You have to actually see him take enough snaps with the starters in order to have enough intel to really figure out whether or not, okay, this is a guy who I think really does level us up at this quarterback position. And given what happened to them before with Sam, if he winds up winning the job and he winds up playing well, they're not going to just let him go then. They're going to wind up saying, look, we need to go ahead and figure this out now for the future, for how we can keep him long term. And now you're going to have a guy in J.J. McCarthy who's going to be running scout team, taking some reps, a guy who already needs to be kind of like shown the way by a veteran who can kind of help him become a better pro, become a guy who like really drills down on the details, matures from a emotional standpoint. That's not Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray don't care about that. Kyler Murray's not there for that. So for J.J. McCarthy, look, I know you moved up to 10 to pick him. It's going to be time to move on from him. You sign Kyler Murray. I'm telling you, it's over. It's over for J.J. McCarthy, in my opinion. It's over.
So then I guess,
a good point.
We'll see where J.J. McCarthy ends up and what that market looks like for him. Maybe he can find somewhere else that would be a landing spot. But, yeah, the sound that Dan made is kind of what comes to mind for me.
Inevitable.
All right, this is fascinating. We'll be talking about it a lot more because we do expect, as Adams told you, that Kyler Murray will be released at the start of the new league year, which comes your way in about a half hour. And up next, after the Ravens shockingly pulled out of the blockbuster Max Crosby trade, we'll tell you what's next for the standout pass rusher. We've got Schefter on the phone right now. He was on the phone last night, too. This is from Dan. I talked about this earlier. Dan, you're sitting across from him.
Literally like
figured out
10
the Max
seconds after we
Crosby
landed.
news.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, so you guys landed and this all hit?
Well, it hit my phone, and I asked Schefter, is this real? And he goes, and he's got his phones going.
And then
he's
you were
working.
being such a good Samaritan, carrying his bags, helping him out.
Teammate.
Dan,
Hey,
you know
that's nice
what?
up there in first class.
Yeah, oh yeah, you guys are fancy. Dan, that's good for ball. You helped out all the fans by carrying Schefter's bags.
I
like it.
Comfort Plus, you know, it's not as nice.
More coming your way here. We'll be right back.
Got an upgrade.